Good morning. I'd like to start today by thanking Wayne Thush for stepping in for me last week. I certainly appreciate it. And his message was very thought-provoking. He spoke of racism, but mostly about bias. And I've thought a lot about that this week. All of us have bias, probably in more facets of our lives and thinking than we even realize. What creates these biases? It's what we're taught. It's our home environment when we're little children. It's what society dictates to us. I'll tell you a little story about how I was raised. My dad was one of 18 kids, so that means I had 17 aunts and uncles and 100 cousins on that side of the family. My mom was one of 4. Had a lot of aunts and uncles, and I was so fortunate. They were all church-going, God-fearing, loving Christians. All of them went to church every Sunday. And they were absolutely sure that they weren't racist. And in fact, they had no prejudice at all against the Negroes. If anything, they were proud that they felt love and empathy for Negroes. And here comes the weird part. Because they couldn't help it if they were born genetically inferior. So they deserved our love and compassion and empathy. That's what I was taught when I was a little boy. It took a very long time to see that that was totally untrue. But that's what they were taught when they were children. And they just passed that profound wisdom on to their children. As I look back on raising my own 5 kids, I wonder how much bias and misinformation and untruth I taught them. Makes me shudder to think sometimes. But how do we transform these biased thoughts and beliefs that all of us have into a higher consciousness? I think we have to begin by accepting everyone as they are. Stop fighting with them. Stop fighting for what you think is right. Mother Teresa, I think, said that she would not fight for any cause, but she would work diligently to create something that was beneficial to mankind. Let's stop criticizing and shaming people for what they think and what they believe. That process started before they had any control over that. Let's stop labeling people. Stop labeling the racists and the Nazis and the fascists. We can create a new consciousness, a consciousness of acceptance. We can create a new environment where we teach our children truth and compassion and love and acceptance. You know, right now there is so much going on in our world focused on bringing about change. There's global warming, Black Lives Matter, Me Too, the LGBTQMKJY, I don't know. There are so many movements, so many people are so passionate about bringing about more equity, more equality, more fairness. And we need all of that energy. I haven't seen energy at this level, maybe not even this level, for 50 years, back in the 60s and the 70s. The time has come to create systems of society based on love and caring and nurturing and partnership and acceptance and positive building new future. It's time to transcend the old systems of domination and power and force and violence. But folks, in the bigger picture, we need all this passionate energy. But we all have to remember we're all part of the good of the whole. We all have to stick together and hold hands. Every movement needs to embrace and recognize and accept and stand tall with all the other movements. This divine energy within us, that is the salvation of humanity. That's the salvation of life on this planet. And the time has come for all of us to realize that and work diligently at that. I heard a gentleman speaking a while back. He said, for a movement to be successful, there's 5 things required. You have to plot and plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. This process that we are beginning now, this transformational process of changing the consciousness of the people on this planet, it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 election cycles. It may take 10, 12, 15 decades, generations. But it requires our due diligence. It requires staying based and focused on the good of the whole. Love and caring and compassion and acceptance, and not fighting, not shaming people for their thoughts and beliefs. Create something new and they will see it and move over. They will transform in their own way, in their own time. I think we all need to become teachers and teach by example. Teach about the joy of seeing a seed of love or empathy planted and see it grow to fruition. It doesn't happen in a 4-year election term. May not happen in our lifetime, probably won't. But if we don't plant the seeds today, my friends, there will be no harvest. A friend of mine texted me not long ago, great little profound text. And it said, don't let the ugliness and the hatefulness of others kill the beauty and the love within you. Folks, we're all people. We've all been taught a lot of things. We've all had experiences. Every human being has had experiences that cause them to think, believe, act, and react in various ways that we can't begin to understand. But we can accept them. And we kind of stop fighting with them and show acceptance and love and stay focused on building a better system of living. We can stay focused on manifesting the divine freedom that every human being has, the freedom to thrive, not merely survive. This is an extraordinary time to be alive. And I can think of no better purpose for our lives than to plant seeds of change and seeds of justice and acceptance and equality for our grandchildren and our great-great-great-grandchildren, so that they may thrive and not survive. And so it is.